So yesterday I opened my till box at work and I had a present. It says, "To James, love God." And the book is called The Answers Book. Answers to the 12 most asked questions on Genesis and creation / evolution. There are a whole bunch of chapters in it, well, like 10 or 11 or 12 or, more than one. And the beginning of the book has all of the questions, and I keep getting the wrong word for this, condensed versions of the answers. Pardon me. And I'm going to pick one of these questions and read you bits and pieces of it. Question: how could all the human races come from Noah, his 3 sons, and their wives? Modern genetics shows that when a large, freely interbreeding group is suddenly broken into smaller groups, which from then on breed only among themselves, as the biblical description of the language dispersion at Babel would imply, different racial characteristics will arise very rapidly. It can be shown that one pair of middle brown parents could produce all known shades of color, from very white to very black, in one generation. The racial characteristics which exist today have not evolved, and generally speaking, are simply different combinations of pre-existing, created, genetic, hereditary information. The environment plays a secondary role in favoring certain combinations over others. That's the condensed version. Now I'll go to the actual chapter, and still I'm only going to read you bits and pieces, because it's a couple pages long. Oh my god, it's more than a couple pages long. Wow, they got really wordy. Oh, that looks shitty. Whatever, only going to read the funny parts. Or the not so funny parts. This book was last published, I think, in 1998. What is a race? In one sense, of course, there is only one race, the human race. And let's see. The Bible teaches us that God has made of one blood all nations of men, Acts 17:26. And some stuff about color and physical appearances, and clearly, though, there are groups of people who have certain features, for example, skin color in common, which makes them different from other groups. For convenience, we shall refer to these groups as races, since the human races are all part of one species, Homo sapiens, wise man. This, of course, tells us immediately that all races can freely interbreed and produce fertile offspring. If not, they would have to be classified as separate species. This indicates that the biological differences between the races are not very great. And let's see, I don't want to skip all the good stuff. Aborigines and Chinese. I'm just going to go to this. Virtually all evolutionists would agree with biblical creationists that all races have come from the same original population. So we're all on the same track. The fact is, and fact is bolded, however, that there is only one, also bolded, skin color, melanin. This is a brownish pigment which we all have in special cells in our skin. If we have none, as do people called albinos who suffer from an inherited mutation-caused defect, which means they lack the ability to produce melanin, then we will have a very white skin coloring, actually pink-white because of blood vessels showing through the skin. If we produce only a little melanin, it means that we will be European white. If our skin produces a great deal of melanin, we will be a very deep black. And in between, of course, all shades of brown. There are no other skin pigments. The other factors, such as the extra thickness of the overlying skin in the Chinese, for example, can give a yellowish effect. And this is not only true for skin color. Whatever feature we may look at, no race has anything which is, in its essence, uniquely different from that possessed by another. For example, the Chinese eye, or almond eye, gets its appearance simply by having an extra fold of fat. Both Chinese and Caucasian eyes have fat. The latter simply has less of it. And that's about as far as I've read so far. But it goes on for a few pages, and maybe I'll do some more later. But they did do a diagram to show the Chinese eye. There. I hope you all learned something today. Chinese have fat eyes. That's very interesting. So here are the other chapters in the book. What happened to the dinosaurs? What about continental drift? What about carbon-14 dating? Were there really ice ages? Why did God take 6 days? How did bad things come about? Noah's flood. What about all that water? How did the different races arise? What about the gap theory? Who was Cain's wife? Does distant starlight prove an old universe? How could animals get to places like Australia? That's the end. Not sure I can really read this without getting all mad. But I just thought I'd give you a little bit of it. And hopefully you can laugh too. Especially the ones with the Chinese eyes. Talk to you later. Bye.